Hi, this is Craig Severance from the Zero Energy Channel. Come join us as we work to address the challenge of moving toward a world with zero energy from fossil fuels. Now that we have the dormer walls and the main floor framework built, we can move on to installing rafters and the ridge beam. We bought a 24-foot long by 2 inch by 2 by 8, which is actually 7 inches by 1.5 inches from the lumber yard. They had to order it from Idaho, but for $35 I wanted one long piece, and we got it and cut that to the right length, which is 22 feet 5 inches for us, which is a little longer than the trailer, so they have a little beyond. And the biggest thing we're struggling with hanging these rafters when you can't use any kind of support is that you have a vaulted ceiling. And so you're thinking of how do I hang this rafter up in the middle of nowhere and have it in the right place. Well, the key is the math. You can see here I built little support, temporary brace supports with a little notch on top to hold the rafter from sliding off. And we did that here on each end, and then at the end of the dormer, which is sort of in the middle. So we are going to be supporting that. The ridge beam is here, and marking it up right now for where the rafters are going to go. And I bought rafter hangers. I'm going to get those attached, so before we lift it up into place. And then we'll make the bird's eye notches, which for a 45-degree roof, for everything but the dormer roof, we're going to, it's pretty simple math. For a 45-degree, you're going over one and up one, which, as I said, this was all about the math. From the top of the rim joist that's all the way around, which is our top layer of our wall, lower wall, we are then going up 1 inch for every inch that we've come over, but then the bird's eye is dropping that joist. And I looked at the plans, and with a 45-degree angle, that's dropping at 3.5 inches. We're going over 51 inches to the middle, so you would think you would go up 51. You do, but then you've already dropped it before you started at 3.5 inches for that notch, so that ended up perfectly calculating out with the plans as being 47.5 inches above the top of the ridge joist will be the bottom of the ridge beam, which is where that notch is, the bottom of the notch. So we measured that up, 47.5 inches, lined it up with the top of the rim joists, and attached them. So that should be our magic to levitate the ridge beam while we're attaching rafters to it. Here, see it from the outside of the tiny house on the end, and we just screwed that temporarily to the end, lining up that line, which you probably can't see, which is 47.5 inches from the bottom of the notch, and squared it up with a rim joist so it's going straight up. By the way, just a tip on these: when you can't level the trailer, you're working relative to each other. So you're basically working with squares and precise measurements, not levels. I haven't used a level since I started this project and realized that, man, no matter what I did with the jacks under the trailer, it wasn't going to end up perfectly level. So, but that's what we're doing. We have that on this end, and way down on the other end, and there's one in the middle you can't see. So but there'll be 3 of these supporting it after we get some rafter hangers attached to it. And of course the blue is my giant tarp that's protecting us until we finally get this roof on. Okay, so we're attaching the rafter hangers before we hang the ridge beam up. A lot easier to do it here on the ground, and really nice for 45 degree. They already come at 45, as you can see, and they can be adjusted to a shallower or steeple angle. So we're going to use them for the dormer rafters as well, which will be a much shallower angle. I have a problem where the two are right next to each other. Here at the end of the dormer wall, it is important to have a rafter for the dormer wall there, and then right up against it you have to have a rafter with a 45 degree roof. So how do you do it with these? Well, I finally came to the conclusion you can't, and we're going to have to toenail or come through from, we're going to have to come through from the other side. There is a little gap in these, as you can see here. There's a gap there that allows the nails to come through, that will allow us to put one of the dormer rafters there where that plate's in the way, and then the other one's going to have to, on the other side, is going to have to be toenailed. Good old-fashioned carpentry without hangers. Going to have to be done on both places where these two have to be abutting against each other, but we can make it work. So we're going to continue along these markings and put on the rafter hangers that we can use, which will essentially be everywhere except where they're two adjacent. I'm just shooting this because it's kind of a cool look at having all the rafter hangers on the one side of the ridge beam, and you get a perspective how long this thing actually is and how it serves as the backbone of your roof. Okay. Okay, we're hanging our ridge beam. We have to wrestle it into position. This is my son Eric, my wife Avis, I'm Craig, and we're going to record what hopefully won't be our industrial accident.
Very positive attitude, Dad.
Right. This is fun.
It is.
Isn't this fun?
Absolutely.
All right, now give it to me. Okay, you're gonna have to scoot it a little bit at a time. Eric, you can move the ladder over there and get up in that loft now.
Do you have a hold of it, Dad? Because
Well, give me a little more length. You're gonna have to probably get in that loft to get it to loose. Whatever you do, do not stand in a position where you're going to back up off the edge.
He won't. He's used to putting solar stuff on.
Right, yeah, he's used to roofs. Okay. Just a little bit at a time. Alright, great. Alright, good. Get a good handle on it, maybe we can get it done here. Alright, just sort of feed it to me. Just feed it over to me. This is working. Very stable, that's good. Just a little bit more, like 6 feet more.
I'm glad you guys can do it by yourself now.
Now it's going to be a little bit off each end because that's how it's built. It's supposed to be a little longer than each end. Okay, now lift it up within the notches. Here. Now let me see how they line up to figure out which one's supposed to be where. Alright, we want to bring it that way about 4 inches. So lift up. Straighten it. Wow, it's got quite a bend to it. Attaching the rafters should take the twist out. Not a band, it's a twist. And to be expected with what started as a 24-foot long piece of lumber. But it is now in position for attaching the rafters.
Hello, my name is Eric. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up down below. Also, if you want to subscribe, that's good too. Join us on the Zero Energy channel.